our parents have a hard time understanding the connection between Children's Cross Connection and Christian World Adoption.
Yes.
We are registered as an NGO in Ethiopia, Christian World Adoption, to act as an adoption agency. We are not licensed to act as an orphanage or a children's home. They look at that as a conflict of interest in Ethiopia.
That's right.
So we find partners that we trust and love and work with closely, and they do the part where they are taking care of the children in the homes, and then we do the adoption part.
That's right. So this is a wonderful way for CCCE to know that the children that we get to work with and rescue get to have a future. Because CCCE has two entities to it, and the big part of CCCE is the Children's Cross Connection of Ethiopia is to rescue the children and really give them hope inside the country. So we have 500 children right now in that program.
All ages.
All ages, all varieties, and we try to place them inside family homes where they are safe, where they are nurtured, where they are loved and cared for, which in itself is a whole new entity, because Ethiopian families in the poor areas are not nurturing by nature. That they are living on such an intense level of intensity, yes, of surviving, that this is just another mouth to feed. So when CWA started helping us with taking care of the children that would not have a future in Ethiopia, that became a wonderful additional program that CCCE can really be blessed by. So it is definitely a CCCE project, and then CWA partnered with us to help us rescue the children into loving families for their future.
And it's the belief of the child welfare community, and certainly the tenets of The Hague, that a child should stay with their birth family first, if at all possible, if they can provide for them. They next should stay in their country of origin, which is what you're talking about. You've got your sponsorship program, or your children in the community where you're finding places for them, foster care type of situations, or you're helping their extended family take care of the child. And then, of course, the last consideration would be having an adoption for the child, an international adoption. And that's the best interest of the child.
Yes.
So you have a very big decision making every time you look at every child. You're looking at what's the best interest of the child.
It is an almost overwhelming responsibility at times, because Hanok and I get to sit with these children and with the families that come in, and sometimes there's not time to sit and you have to discern so quickly. So for us it's a spiritual matter. To have a child or a family come to you and say, I need you to help us, or a police officer, we found this baby, what do we do with this? What do we do with him? And to know immediately, should this child stay in country, or should this child leave the country? That is always our first question. And the Lord confirms to us every time what the destiny of a child is. So we take that responsibility extremely seriously,
You do.
and it is a very emotional matter for us, because it is such a big. It's not only the responsibility, but it is the honor of being able to walk with these children.
And the honor of respecting that their country also loves these children.
Yes.
And you could have a child that could be the next scientist for, I've heard this expressed by people in foreign countries, that could be the next scientist that's going to help our country.
Exactly.
And you're trying to discern what's the best place for this child. And you mentioned the word rescue earlier, and that's something that I didn't really understand until I was on the ground for a long time. But I've seen you and your team triage. You'll have a baby coming in that's limp or almost dead. You're running to the hospital trying to revive the child, and then you've got a parent that's in great need, and then you've got all of this emergency situation going on. I admire you all so much for being able to just keep your head and just take care of this all at the same time. It's just amazing to see, really.
It's an amazing, overwhelming experience to be a part of that, because you make decisions between a child's life or his death. So to be concerned about trivial things become even more trivial. So it's very difficult to maintain that balance of what is important to whom, when, and how deep you should go. We are privileged because we have a hospital compound there with us, and we have missionary medical teams, and so we have wonderful access to medical care. And then also people that can say to us, this child, there's something wrong, let's take him in and let's watch him. And oftentimes I get to just take the children into my home and find out, with the help of neighboring missionaries, what really the need is. So it's a very unusual situation, and we doing as much as we can, if not more, for every child, because every child counts.
And I know how much each child counts. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've seen you with your whole family saving a child's life by having them lay on your chest for 3 days.
We do.
For the body work. So, I've been doing this for probably 20 years, and I told me I wouldn't cry in this, but Ethiopia is a whole new thing, because I think there's such a lack of support systems in place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very poor country. The people are very warm and loving, but there's just not that safety net. And I have never been in a situation, and I've been working there since 2005, where you go over there and the children just line up, and they have their little chance for you to interview them or to film them, and you'll say, honey, where are your parents? They say, they're gone. So, I mean, they're not social orphans, a lot of these children. A lot of these children, because of the AIDS epidemic and malaria and just poverty, they're truly orphans.
You're absolutely right. And then the high mortality rates during childbirth. For mother and for child. It is unfathomable when you start looking at the statistics of why children die or why children live without a parent. To have a family intact is an unusual situation. And it's not because they don't want it, it's because of their environment.